In my opinion, the reason that conventional farming gets such a bad rap is because they continue to plant the same crops over and over again and do heavy tillage. When you turn the soil, you're turning all your microbes upside down. So you're killing them off because you're burying the ones that are surface microbes and you're bringing the low microbes to the surface. pH is a scale of basic to acid. And the scale is, I believe it's 1 through 14, 7 being neutral. The higher the number, the more basic the pH is. And the lower the number, the more acidic the pH is. Our pH level on our farm averages between 8.5 and 8.7, which is quite high and blocks some nutrients. Specifically, it blocks a lot of iron. Even though there's a lot of iron in our soil, it's just not in a chemical form that the plants can use. So as we add organic matter, as well as we add elemental sulfur to our soil, the organic matter helps buffer the issue and and also lower pH over a long period of time. The elemental sulfur is broken down in the soil by microorganisms, which gets converted into sulfuric acid, which changes the pH. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes 3 to 4 months for that process to occur and for there to be a lowering of our pH. And we can get our pH to between 7.2 and 6.8. The ideal growing pH is usually about 6.5. But anytime we can get down below 8, it really helps make the nutrients that are in our soil more available to our plants. The seed companies and seed developers are always coming up with new crops. These are not GMO crops. These are just selected varieties for what they're trying to accomplish. For instance, with our spinach, we buy varieties that stand straight up so that we can cut them well. We also buy varieties of spinach that grow really well in the wintertime and also grow pretty well when it starts to get hot, right? They don't bolt as fast. So we switch spinach varieties as we go throughout the year.
With your different crops that you've got, do you do any crop rotation? Because you've done your nitrogen, you're doing nitrogen fixing, you're adding amendments, but do you do any crop rotation to help with fixing things in the soils?
Yeah, so crop rotation is just all about different species of plants, right? So in the greens, we've got the super mix, which is a brassica mix. We've got the spring mix, which is 6 to 8 different types of lettuces. And then we have the spinach. So we rotate those constantly throughout the year. So we're always kind of doing that. Although I will probably put this back into either spinach or I will put it back into the brassica mix. But, crop rotation is usually on an annual basis. So there wouldn't be anything wrong with growing spinach in the same beds for a year. And then next year do lettuce in those beds, right? So you don't have to think about it every time you turn the bed, right, as you got to put something else different there. You just want to rotate things throughout the year. It's really a challenge for us on our farm to strictly stay organic. And I have learned through the years that commercial fertilizers can be your friend or your enemies. If you over-apply, it can really devastate your microbial activity in your beds. But appropriate amounts and not over-application, all your microbes need those same nutrients that your plants need to build body and to grow and to increase in their numbers. So a little bit all the time, just like nature does, is important. You have to remember that a nitrogen molecule is a nitrogen molecule is a nitrogen molecule. Whether it comes from blood meal or whether it comes from a commercially developed fertilizer, the molecules are the same, and that's what's important. So Just make sure that you apply your fertilizers according to label. I'd like to talk a little bit about that perfect gardener, and then maybe not such a perfect gardener. You have that perfect gardener that has all his raised beds and nice wood chips, and and everything is, maybe even the wood is stained. And then you've got the neighbor that doesn't have raised beds, allows the leaves from the trees to fall and just lay on his beds and compost over the winter. The guy with the perfect beds, he's just always out there trying to make everything look really good. My question is who's the better farmer? With regenerative agriculture, you work with nature. Both of these farmers produce prize-winning vegetables at their local fairs. The not-so-perfect farmer is applying less, but allowing nature to do most of the work. Don't be so tied up on making everything just absolutely perfect. Allow nature to help you along the way. That's where I see regenerative agriculture working best. Over the years, we've wanted to be organic, but it's just not possible right now for our farm to do that. We're really excited about the new regenerative practices that are out there, and we've been applying those for many years before they got popular. Conventional farming, we're not really conventional farmers, and we're not really organic farmers, so we really lie in that regenerative agriculture. In the end, you need to find out what's best for you and for your markets. For me, my markets don't demand organic, and I don't get a high enough increase in my wholesale crops in order to justify all that goes with organic. Does that mean we're spraying chemicals everywhere? Absolutely not. Doing organic practices, we just don't pay for the process of being organic. And we use smart regenerative agriculture practices to keep our soils healthy. For Lincoln and Clark County, I sit on the FSA board, and we have all sorts of programs to help farmers and incentivize them to do certain practices. This is beginning to get expanded through the U.S. or through the Farm Service Agency as well as the NRCS. And so, yeah, I think it's really important that we lobby our representatives and senators to help increase these incentives, even for commercial farmers that have fed us since the plow was invented. But their practices are killing the soil and lowering our yields and making our food less nutrient dense. So take the time, write your senator, write the president, write your congressman, and get your voice heard so that we can increase the incentives to improve soils, and that will help us in the long run feed 8+ billion people. If you like the content here, please subscribe. If you have questions, comment down below.